Hi, it's Anthony from CarPlayLife.com, and today we're checking out the MMB Wireless Apple CarPlay Dongle Plus from Joy Auto. This is a wireless CarPlay dongle that has a few additional extras over other wireless CarPlay dongles that you can buy today, in that you can AirPlay to the dongle itself, which means you can use screen mirroring functionality to cast video from your apps such as YouTube or Tick-Tock from your iOS or Android device straight to your CarPlay display. You've seen this in a recent review of the MMB Android Box from Joy Auto, but with this dongle it will give you wireless Apple CarPlay functionality and there is no Android OS functionality at all. It is purely Apple CarPlay with the addition of the screen mirroring and also the ability to plug in a USB stick into the bottom of the device and play music and video files directly to your CarPlay screen as well. In the box you get the MMB Wireless CarPlay Dongle Plus itself. It's quite small in size, which makes it easy to stow away in a center console or glove box. And its plastic casing only comes in gloss black colour, and there are a few grills around these sides to keep its internal circuitry cool. On one side you get the USB-A port, which is used to access media files that are stored on a USB drive, and you also can use this to power your iPhone from it just by plugging in a lightning cable into this port too. Sadly, it doesn't offer wired CarPlay through this port, so if you do want wired CarPlay you're going to have to take this dongle out and plug your lightning cable back in. On the opposite side you have the USB-C port. This port is used to attach 8-inch or 20cm USB-C to USB-A braided cable, which connects to the dongle, and then you connect this end to your car stereo system USB port. Just like all the other dongles on the market, you will need a wired CarPlay system to use this dongle. It will not give a non-CarPlay enabled vehicle CarPlay. Alright, let's jump in the car and get the USB Dongle Plus installed and see how it works. Right, so we're in the Golf GTI here and we've got the MMB Dongle Plus, and we're going to connect it and see how it runs. Right, so we've plugged the USB into the CarPlay port in the car that would normally use for wired CarPlay. And the first screen that you see is that it's configuring the system. This is probably just collecting all the data it can to operate, such as the screen real estate that it's going to be plugged into, and maybe the compatibility of the system itself, and just configure the operating system to work with it. Right, so we're booting into the system itself now. You can see it's wireless Apple CarPlay, and we get a user agreement to browse and agree. And we've got a warning message here to let us know not to drive whilst operating video. So we know that we're going to clear that, and then we've got, this is the main interface that we're that you'll always come to unless you're going through CarPlay itself. We've got a dimming function up here, toggle between night and dark mode. This is to set up the Wi-Fi connection for mirroring. And we've got USB drive, file system, Bluetooth connectivity if you've got an Android phone or another phone that you want to connect to, and just use contacts, Bluetooth media streaming, as well as calling and things like that. This will take you back to the car system menu. Anything playing from the USB drive or Bluetooth will actually play in this little media player panel here. CarPlay will just function the actual CarPlay system itself. So we'll just do that first. So we're going to go into Bluetooth here. You can see the smart option here, which mirrors the smart option down here. So we're going to click on that. We're going to pair, and we're going to allow syncing for Bluetooth contacts. So now we're connected. And now this unit's going to reboot and take us into CarPlay. Right, so we're booted into CarPlay. This is now coming off the MMB Dongle Plus. We've got the MediaCast icon here. And that's how basically you get back to the UI. I won't do that just yet because that'll mean a reboot. So we're in CarPlay now, and if I were to turn off the car, which I'll do in a second just to show you, it's just behaving as it would do wirelessly from my phone. I'll just prove that with Spotify. And you can see the audio delay when I change track. So it's about 2 seconds audio lag delay, but it's obviously getting the track as well. So you've got to discount that. These files are coming from the internet. So that might be a reason why it's slightly delayed, but it's still, there's a little bit of audio delay between start and stop. Obviously navigation is all how you would expect it to be, and CarPlay runs as you'd expect it to. So that's CarPlay in a nutshell. I'll now turn the ignition off and then I'll start it back up again. And we'll see how long it takes to boot into CarPlay now that it's been initialized.
A few moments later.
So we're back into CarPlay now. So that's how long it takes to boot up. Your system might vary. My Alpine normally gets about 30 to 40 seconds to get into any wireless dongle device. So bear that in mind. The length is going to be roughly similar to what you probably get on a dongle as well. So that's CarPlay. Let's just go back to the actual main interface, which is this way. And then we're going to be back in here. If I were to toggle this, if I hit that, it's going to go and reboot again. So as long as you want to stay in CarPlay, it's going to go in and out of CarPlay after you've turned the ignition on and off. And you're not going to have that problem of rebooting the dongle every single time. But if I were to go back into CarPlay now, I'll have to reboot, which is a shame. And I'll just show you that now.
A few moments later.
And now we're into CarPlay. So if you were to juggle between the two options, between MediaCast and CarPlay, you always have to go through that reboot process. But if you just want to stay in CarPlay and have this option in the future, if you ever need to Airstream to the CarPlay display or use USB media, you've got that option to dip into if you need to. Otherwise, it can just function as a wireless CarPlay dongle on its own right, and you can just dip into MediaCast whenever you need to. But if you do, you just have to remember that you have to reboot. What I'll just show you is the version screen where you can actually browse screen resolution and what firmware you're on and how to upgrade using the flash drive. You've got general settings to turn light and dark mode on and off again. And you can turn the prompt warning that you get for not watching video. And you can turn the improvement program on and off as well to send crash logs if the thing actually crashes. You can restore factory settings, and that's pretty much it. So wireless LAN is, as it explains, it's your way of connecting to the actual dongle itself. And for wireless mirroring, you kind of need to connect to the actual phone wireless hotspot itself. So we'll do that. So we're going to turn our personal hotspot on, and in a few short seconds it will come up here as an option. Here we go. So we're going to enter our password. We're going to connect. So that's us connected. And now we're going to go to Phonecast. And we're connected here. This is a shortcut to get into the wireless options again if you want to get into there quickly. Up here we've got settings, which is just basically version, user agreement for the actual wireless mirroring. And first of all, we're going to do iOS. So you basically need to screen mirror, and then up comes the option. And once you select that, right, so we're mirroring, we're now screen mirroring. So now you see the iPhone screen in all of its glory. So from this point onwards, you can launch up YouTube. You can go to a video and basically play it. Hi, it's Anthony from CarPlay.com, and today we're checking out. And if you rotate the phone or go full screen, controller grips for the Oculus Quest, and you can enlarge the screen as much as you can on your phone. Grips that you've normally probably seen if you've been in the Quest scene. So it's playing on your phone, it's playing on the display. If you've got a very small display and you've got a very large iPhone, it's not really worth it, in my opinion, because the screen's not so big to your phone if you've got a smaller screen, and also there's the audio sync issue. As you can see, I've just been quiet there so you can actually see my voice lip sync there, and basically there is a delay. There's at least a 2 or 3 second delay in the audio, maybe more if you've got a bad mirroring signal between your phone and the actual dongle. So if you want to see video on a display and you're not too bothered about audio being in sync, this is not too bad. It's quite seamless, and you have the option of CarPlay as well on top of it. But as something you'd actually want to see and you want to have everything in sync, it's not brilliant, at least on iOS anyway. So we'll try Android in a minute and see how that performs. And you can't really do much else. You can't interact. You've still got to interact with your phone. The only option here is this little white dot, which basically takes you back and exits the mirroring process as well. And that takes you back to this screen. So that's mirroring. You can mirror any other app from your iOS device apart from things like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus. All these are copyrighted apps, whereas YouTube seems to work okay. So that's mirroring for iOS. We'll come back to Android in a minute. USB drive is if you plug in a USB stick. So we've got a USB stick here. This is a SanDisk 16 gig. It's formatted at FAT32, and we've put some sample files on it. So we've got to plug this in, and that's now got to access and then bring up the file menu. And here you've got separate music and video, so you can toggle between the two. We want to do audio. Here's all our audio sample tracks. So we've got FLAC here. We've got a WAV file. MP3. And as this plays, it's playing out in this section here, so you can skip through tracks as well. AAC. And that's pretty much all our sample files that we've got at the moment. I think if you've got album art and things like that, it might actually populate that. Over on the video section, you've got some samples sat here. So you've got MOVs. They work perfectly fine. Looks great. Full screen if you've got it formatted in that ratio. AVIs. MKVs. And we've got high bit rate files as well that we can test, and it all seems to run pretty well. So that's the USB drive, very straightforward. It's unfortunate that it shows all hidden file system as well. So I've spoken to them about that, and I think they're looking into it because the Mac uses .dot files to in its file system, so it seems to show that as well, and it's quite unfortunate that it shows you everything. So music and video there, and Bluetooth functionality comes through the phone. If you've got music playing on your phone itself, you can play it on an Android device, for example. So if we go into here, it's going to start playing from Spotify via Bluetooth to the dongle and play in the actual system itself. Obviously it's not a match to the actual Spotify CarPlay app, but what this is good for is if you've got an Android user in the car and you want them to share music to it rather than play your own music through Spotify and things like that. Again, you can navigate through here, and you can also navigate through this section here too, through different tracks, and obviously that's going to change the audio that's been playing back on your phone. You've got Bluetooth phones, so you can actually call people, switch devices if you've got multiple Bluetooth devices connected through the dongle as well. View your contacts, view your previously called list, and also you can go in and actually dial a number directly as well. I would have liked this if this was a little bit thicker and a bit bigger for the car display, but this is good enough. You dial out your number and hit that to go. So that's dialing and Bluetooth audio streaming. We're going to try and aircast to an Android device. So we've got a phone cast here. Right, so we're connected to our Wi-Fi at home with an Android cast, and then basically we're going to screen mirror this Android device. So let's go look for available devices. It's found the system, so we're going to toggle it there, connecting. And then here we are. So it's a bit more easier on the Android device than it is on iOS. So again, if we rotate the device, it's going to rotate it onto the screen. But for now, you can see me going through the options. It's probably not as smooth as you'd like it. We'll launch up YouTube. And we're just going to go to a video of ours. And then we make this go full screen. So again, today we're checking out the VR cover, check out the lip sync halo protectors for the Oculus Quest 2. These are silicone material. They're very easy to install. So again, we've probably got about 2-3 second delay in the audio. The quality is not as good as AirPlay as well. It's a bit low quality, but that could be down to my Wi-Fi connection at home because we're a bit further away from the router. You can see it's buffering now again. But again, if you've got a large Android device and you've got a very small CarPlay screen, you might as well just continue to use your smartphone really. The experience isn't as good as you hope it will be. But if you really do want to have screencasting from your Android or iOS devices onto a bigger CarPlay display and you don't worry about the audio sync issues, then this is not a bad solution to have that and CarPlay at the same time. Alright, so we've had a look at both iOS, Android mirroring, and we are coming out of here and back to the main. So we've had a look at all these options. We can go back to the car here, and obviously this is the CarPlay option for my normal system. That just brings you back to the dongle interface. We've had a look through all these options: CarPlay, USB drive, Bluetooth streaming, and screen sharing, and AirPlay. And we looked at the settings as well. So that's the majority of what the MMB Dongle Plus has to offer. All right, let's go back to the studio and let's wrap up what we think. So we're back from taking a look at the MMB Wireless CarPlay Dongle Plus. Overall, I think it's a decent product that has great potential, but there are a few issues that prevent it from being truly great. The physical hardware is fine. It's not all that different to any other wireless dongle on the market right now. It's certainly an improvement on its size over the first CarPlay dongle from Joy Auto. I would have liked to have seen a better placement for its status light. The blue LED is located on the inside of the case on the USB-C end of the dongle, which usually faces away from you, so you can't really see it that clearly. A status light on the top would have been a better location. They could have reused their logo perhaps to easily see if the dongle is powered and operating. I like their custom boot menu. It's big, bold and colourful, which makes it easy to access all of its various modes. Just like the MMB Android Box I reviewed, there is an issue of it showing hidden file formats. So files on a USB stick from a Mac will have double the icons, which can make it confusing to operate and select music tracks or videos. I find the all-important feature of screencasting a little bit hit and miss. It is dependent on your mobile or Wi-Fi hotspot connection, which for me isn't always that stable on iOS. It's a little bit better on Android, but I found it stuttering with lower image quality and it was more prone to buffering from the stream also. Whichever platform you cast from, you will always get at least 2 to 3 seconds audio delay in the mirrored video content on your CarPlay display. So because of this, it makes this feature not that fit for purpose for me. It's a nice thing to have with the ability to cast YouTube videos on your CarPlay display, but when casting the phone's 16:9 screen ratio on a 4:3 CarPlay display, there will always be some form of black borders around your video. So to compare this with your own phone screen, the size difference isn't that marginal. You might as well watch the video off your phone screen instead, and that way you wouldn't get any of the audio lag issues either. Finally, the biggest issue I have with the MMB Dongle Plus is how it actually handles CarPlay. If you want to enter into the multimedia area of the dongle, you will always have to reboot the dongle to enter into CarPlay mode. I also struggled to get the dongle to show up on my CarPlay list on my iPhone, and still to this day it fails to appear in the menu. If you use the dongle mostly for wireless CarPlay, then the dongle can be left in that mode and it will boot back into CarPlay when you next fire up the car. But as soon as you tap on that MediaCast option, it enters into the main menu interface and you know you have to reboot the dongle once again to get back into CarPlay. Unfortunately, it's not a fast or seamless experience. Hopefully Joy Auto can fix this issue, but for me, the dongle should really operate in CarPlay mode every time and just allow you the ability to leave it to enter into mirror video content whenever you like. But right now it's trying to lay up both options, and this requires rebooting the dongle every time you want to jump back into CarPlay. If you can look past these concerns I have mentioned, then the MMB Wireless Dongle Plus offers features such as video streaming that no other CarPlay can currently do. The MMB Wireless Apple CarPlay Dongle Plus currently retails for $175 directly from Joy Auto website, and you can use our coupon CarPlay Life to get yourself free shipping with your order. Alright, thanks for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. If it has, please give us a like and consider subscribing to all my future content, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.